Okay. Hi, Kev. This is my brother, Kevin. And yep, there he is. He lives in Minneapolis, and we're going to talk about his experience with MRSA. So, go.
Oh, indeed. MRSA is not my favorite. So it all started in college, actually, when I was assisting our dad get the docks out of the water, and the docks are like metal, rusty, just old. And one of them fell on my knee and cut my knee open. It wasn't terrible, but it was kind of a deep cut. I think I put a Band-Aid on it, and that was pretty much it. I didn't think anything of it. I was also playing hockey at the time. And I think I went to a hockey game the next day, and I fell on my knee. This was probably a normal play, but it hurt a lot worse than normal. Kind of thought maybe it was the hockey thing. So just kept going about my normal life that night, went to sleep, woke up the next day, it hurt really bad, and I just thought, well, maybe I sprained it, or I hurt it somehow playing hockey. So I let it go on, like, I want to say 3 or 4 days maybe, and each day it got worse and worse, where normally you'd expect something like that to feel better. And it kept getting worse and worse to the point where I woke up on day 3 or 4 and it was like unbearable pain in my knee. And also on day 4, I realized that my lymph nodes throughout my body were really swollen, especially like in my groin area. And so then I got to realizing that whatever this was spreading throughout my body. It wasn't just localized to the knee anymore. And I could see my right leg was actually like hot, red, inflamed, and it was just not good. So at that point, even though I'm a guy, I realized, hey, I need to go to the doctor. So I actually called that morning, and they got an appointment that afternoon, luckily, because I got in there, and she, I laid down on like the exam table, and she looked at my knee, and she's like, this is really bad. It's really infected. They took a culture, realized that it was MRSA, and actually at that point, you could kind of see everybody in the room get on edge just because it's a very dangerous strain. But so they all put on their gloves and their basically like a bodysuit to make sure they didn't get any on them, and then they had to drain my knee, which was absolutely disgusting. But imagine popping a pimple the size of your knee. I mean, it was gross, but they had to drain it, and so she drained the pus out of there, and it made it feel a little bit better, but I was still worried. She actually said that if I would have waited another day or two, they might have had to amputate my leg. I would have went into septic shock, and I mean, who knows? So the lesson I learned from that is like, don't wait, because a staph infection can spread throughout your whole body, and it can, I mean, if you were to have it in your upper body, it can spread to your brain quickly, or all kinds of things. So it's really important to timing is of the essence. After that, I went on, I think, 3 different antibiotics, which they knew wouldn't work very well. MRSA is antibiotic resistant, which is why it's so scary. But I took 3 different antibiotics, and that in and of itself made me feel pretty crappy. But after about 2 weeks, I went back in, got everything tested, and I was okay at that point. Luckily, at the time, I was in college. I was probably 20 years old, so young and healthy, and I was able to fight it off, but it could have been a different situation. Had I waited another day or two, or had it been a different age or a different situation.
Gotcha. So did the antibiotics then heal it, or what? Or what happened?
I think so. So I think MRSA is, it's like a staph infection. So you need an antibiotic in order to clear your body of it, kind of like a different. Is it bacterial infection, basically, right?
Yeah.
So it basically killed off the bad bacteria, because I needed 3 different ones just to get the potency, because MRSA is so resistant to that.
Yeah.
But of course, if you know anything about antibiotics, if you're killing off the bad bacteria, you're killing off the good bacteria. So I just felt just lousy in general for like 2 weeks being on those, but I knew I had to, and I could really tell it was serious, because most of the time if I'm going to the doctor, like, I've never seen the doctor's face just like light up and be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that really scared me.
Gotcha. So then was it all better after that, or what happened after that?
Yeah, I think I had a scar. I might still have I had a scar on my kneecap I still kind of see it, but other than that, it was fine. That was just because they had to drain it, and it literally was a hole in my leg that they drained it from, because it had just become so infected.
Gross.
Yeah.
So you think it was a cut that you gotten from the dog,
yeah,
and then maybe
that's
the bacteria?
A good point. Yeah, so I mentioned the 2 things that I thought brought it on. Metal, rust, like old stuff like that can be dangerous, and if it gets cut into your skin. Mm-hmm. So I think, even if you stepped on like a screw or something like that, you really should be aware that that could have MRSA.
Yeah.
But the other thing is the hockey gear, and I don't know if it was like the cut from the dock or if it was a cut and then the hockey gear, because athletic gear, especially hockey gear, when you don't wash it, becomes pretty gross. And I don't know if I washed it.
Yeah.
And so it could have came from that, and it could have just got into my cut at that point.
Yeah.
So I am happy to report. The doctor told me like you have to throw away all your hockey stuff, which was a sad day. But I got new hockey stuff, and I'm happy to report that I now wash it diligently.
Oh, good. So you learned a lesson from everything.
Yeah, I guess. Well, at that and the fact that Sarah's always like, "Oh, you smell bad with all the hockey stuff." So
yeah, gotta take care of your personal hygiene.
I try.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.